Hello everyone, welcome back to EQ Markets Global YouTube channel. This is 𝗟𝗜𝗏, Head Market Analyst for EQ Markets Global. And I'm super delighted to have you once again on our YouTube channel for the weekly market outlook. This is where we have deep market insights for the week, the economic happenings that is going to affect the market for the week. And of course, we also try to look at the very good potential setups and the different assets where it's happening so we can take full opportunity of those setups as well. All right. So once again, you're welcome, and let's dive straight into business. So we're going to start with the economic happening for this week. We have a handful of them. If you look here very closely, on Monday, we're only expecting a bank holiday from Canada. Okay, and that would be all for Monday. And of course, we're expecting some French from some flash manufacturing and flash services PMI coming out from Europe on Tuesday, as well from Germany still on Tuesday, and as well Great Britain still on Tuesday. So both flash manufacturing and flash services PMI for France, Germany, and as well the Great Britain all on Tuesday. All right, and then as well we will be expecting the same for the USD still on Tuesday. All right, so we put that in mind as well. On Wednesday, we will be having um monetary policy statements released by 3 a.m. Nigerian time on Wednesday. All right, and of course, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand is looking at hiking interest rate from 5.25%, where it currently stands, to about 5.5%. That's about a 25 basis interest rate hike that we will be expecting for the New Zealand dollar, right? So we also put our eyes on that. And then, of course, we'll be expecting some CPI data coming out from the UK. All right, that's also another news that we need to put our eyes on. The CPI year on year from the UK. Okay, and aside that, we're going to be having some speech just after the release of that report from Governor Bailey's, the governor of the Bank of England. All right, so we also put our eyes on that. And then as well by 7 p.m., all right, we need to also look out for this for the FOMC minutes meeting that will be happening still on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Now I'm going to quickly talk about something that is going to be affecting the United States dollar just shortly, right? So I'll come back to talk about that. Then on Thursday, of course, we will be expecting some unemployment claims and then prelim GDP still for the USD by 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. And then by 1:30 on Friday, we'll be expecting core PCA, right? So these are the data that we will be expecting, and we need to put our eyes on, right? So just before we delve right straight into the dollar index and see how the dollar is going to be performing, all right? There is a very big decision that needs to be taken in the United States, and as early as possible, or else there is going to be some sort of catastrophe and some sort of big fall for the United States dollar, right? So the House of Representatives actually had a meeting to deliberate the matter of increasing the debt ceiling for the United States. Don't forget, the debt ceiling for the United States is about 31.4 trillion. And the debt ceiling simply talks about the maximum amount of money that the United States can actually borrow. So obviously that debt ceiling had been reached, okay, and ever since that debt ceiling had been set, it had been increased over 100 times. But in recent times, it has increased from about 11 billion when it started to about $31.4 trillion. And as it stands now, the United States is owing exactly about $31.4 trillion. It simply means legally, the United States can no longer borrow money, right? And of course, if they need to borrow money, then it simply means that all the arms of the government needs to sit down, deliberate, and find some common grounds in order to increase that debt ceiling. But of course, as it is, we have a Democratic president, which is Joe Biden, and then of course the House of Reps is filled with Republicans, right? And so it's even headed by Republican McCarthy, right? And last week, they walked out of the meeting because they were not able to reach an agreement. And of course, there is a deadline for this. By 26th of this month, if they are unable to increase the debt ceiling and then, of course, borrow some more money, it simply means that the United States will be lacking in carrying out their responsibilities in so many sectors and so many areas. Now, how does this affect us who are traders, or how does this affect us, affect the investors? Of course, if they're unable to do a whole lot of things, it simply means that a lot of investors will be having some sort of negative sentiments towards the United States, and they would not be so sure if they could be leaving their investments still in the United States, or they will be putting more investments in the United States. It simply means that if this happens, the United States dollar is bound to weaken, right? It is bound to weaken. And we hope to see the result of all that. I think there will be a meeting by Tuesday, which is tomorrow, a meeting between the president and I think the House of Reps members, something like that, right? There's going to be a meeting. So we expect on Tuesday, Tuesday's negotiations to tell us exactly what is going to be happening with the United States dollar. All right. By the way, the United States dollar has bounced up back in the last 2 weeks. Like I have always told you, from other previous weekly market outlook, that the United States dollar is sitting pretty on a very well established support zone. And the last 2 weeks had been pretty bullish, right? So this is the weekly time frame. If you look at it on the weekly time frame, we still have this W shape pattern, right? And keeping to it, we're expecting at least prices to come back to the neckline, all right, the neckline of the W shape pattern, which is somewhere around here. But first, I noticed that at 105.005, we have some sort of zone that the market is going to react very well to. So at first here, it was a resistance, it broke through, became a support, and even while it broke through, became a resistance, again, it retested, you can see that. So we're expecting prices perhaps will drive into that zone. It's currently trading at around 103.153. We're expecting that, okay, if negotiations should happen and the dollar bounces back, then the dollar will continue to be strengthened till I think 105.005. If you look at it on the daily time frame, this is 105.005. We're expecting the dollar to come, but then there are some minor retracement. Like Friday was bearish for the dollar index, right? So there are some minor retracement around this zone. So here was more like a support break, right? And then it still repeated itself. Here it became a support break, and this could just be a perfect retest. All right. So if the negotiations did not go too well, this resistance zone could be very effective, and then we're going to see dollar plunge into the deep as well. All right. Thank you so much. Before I show you the 5 main setups that will fetch you money this week, all right, I need you to do something. If you're new to this YouTube channel, all right, turn on the notification bell, put it at all, and then make sure you subscribe. Let me give you a count of 10 to do that, right? So subscribe. I want to show you 5 currency pairs that is going to make you money. 5 assets, rather 5 assets that is going to make you money, right? This week, right? But before I show you, have you subscribed? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I also want you to put the notification bell at all so that you get notified every single time we put out educative and informative contents just like this one. But then you still need to stay up to date with all the things that we do, and also with first-hand information. You can decide to follow us on Facebook, we're EQ Markets Global, and also on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and also on Telegram, right? You can find us, simply type EQ Markets Global and you'll find us. Now, let's jump straight into those assets that I said will make you money. First is Euro USD, right? So let me ask you, where do you think Euro USD is going? Where do you think Euro USD is going? All right. So if negotiations happen and the dollar becomes a bit strengthened, it simply means that we will still be expecting some bearish movements on Euro USD. And of course, that's what I'm personally expecting on Euro USD. So let me show you why I'm expecting that bearish movement on Euro USD. Okay. So let me zoom out. So if you can notice carefully, sorry about that. So if you notice carefully, this is where Euro USD actually took off, right? It's bullish flight. And then of course we had triple bounce off on this same zone, causing it to have this trend line we've been able to detect into the future, right? So if we are having a bearish retracement, all right, already Euro USD had broken the market structure here. So if we're having a bullish retrace, if you're having a bearish retracement, it should come to an end somewhere around this zone here. And then we'll, of course, be having more bullish movements in the coming days, right? Already on the 4-hourly time frame, we see some form of confirmations, but then I'm still pretty sure that this is going to still fall back into this trend line before we are going to have some sort of bullish movement. So yes, we might see dollar weaken a bit, maybe today or tomorrow, causing Euro USD to plunge into the deep, right? So find some good support still around the same level where it was before, right? Of course, we already know that that level is a good support, or if not at around 1.07604, we're going to see it fall into this level at around 1.07464, right? And of course, at that level, we find good confirmation and we take it all the way up, right? It's coming back into 1.10772. Trust me, guys, it's coming to break out and clear out that level. So if we find good support, if we find good confirmation around here, in this week, all right, Euro USD is set to do over 330 pip movement to the upside, right? So that's number one that you should put your eyes on. Okay, you can put it in your watch list. GBP USD is not also different, right? Of course, we can see that GBP USD. Of course, this is the ninth trend line on the weekly time frame, and of course, it broke. All right, sorry about that. So we see the market respected that zone a bit, coming back into the support area that was initially broken, right? So we can see that support area clearly on the daily time frame, right? But then I'm still expecting that this will still come down to at around 1.23650, 1.23650, right? That's where I'm expecting GBP USD to fall down to. And of course, from that zone, of course, perhaps there might be some form of consolidation that will get it into this trend line, right? This counter trend line that we have here. And from that counter trend line, of course, if we find good confirmation, all right, for a buy, maybe candlestick patterns or using your oscillators, we find good entry to the market and we take it all the way up. So taking it all the way up, we're expecting that, okay, it comes to break this former high here, which is over 300 pip as well, right? That's the second one. AUD USD is also another good trade setups that we can take, right? So where AUD USD is going is bullish, is going all the way up, but right, we're experiencing consolidation around this zone, and there is no confirmation yet for a buy, right? So what I would advise is look at this. On the oscillator, right, we still have bearish momentum in the market. So it simply means that most likely this guy is going to fall deep back into this trend line. And of course, around that zone, we find that confirmation and then we take it all the way up. So if it's coming all the way up, if we take from here, okay, find confirmation from here, the first level we're looking at to take out from the market is around 0.68073, which is over 250 pip movement. And of course, we're expecting it to come back into 0.70494, which is over 498 or 500 pip movement. That's what we're expecting on AUD USD, all right? But then let's see how it keeps consolidating around this zone until it gives us our perfect entry, which is more like a confirmation we're going to be looking for, right? So that's the third one. The fourth is gold, right? So gold is most likely going to go up, right? Gold is most likely going to clear out, create an all-time high, a new all-time high, right? Aside testing around 2073 level, right? So what we're going to be seeing on gold is this. Let me show you clearly. Remember, gold had made triple top recently, right? And then, of course, if you look at it on the daily time frame, after testing the third time on that same zone, it fell back. So this is what I'm expecting. I can see on the daily time frame. So gold is actually respecting this trend line. First touch, the second touch, we're expecting perhaps a third touch. And of course, third touch confirms that that particular trend line is a trend line, right? It establishes it as a trend line. And then, of course, we're going to be having a big bullish movement that is going to be coming. Well, I'm scared. I want gold to sell, but then I'm only an opportunist. So what do we do? If it comes and then we see that happens, we're going to be taking gold. So this week, we most likely will be seeing gold sell off. all right, coming into these zones. So I've been able to map out these zones for you so that you'll be able to see it. So the first level we're looking at is gold coming back to test on this trend line, right? So yeah, it was resistance. Even when it broke, it became support, and then bounced off. So we're expecting that perhaps gold comes back into this particular trend line, right? This trend line that coincides with this horizontal support, right? And that's around 1928.16. 1928.16. If we find confirmation around this zone, that would be a perfect entry for gold to go bullish, right? And then if not that zone, we're expecting that gold will consolidate until it comes into this trend line, somewhere around here, right? Which is number 2 that I've marked out. And that's around 1950.11. So whichever is the scenario that gold plays out for us, we're prepared for him, right? So we're expecting some sell-off on gold this week to 1928.16 or to 1950.11, right? And then we find some confirmations around there for a buy, and we go all the way up. That's the fourth. The last but not the least is GBP JPY. So a whole lot of people have been calling in and asking me what's the update with GBP JPY. So guys, let me show you this on the monthly time frame so you better understand where I am coming from, right? So GBP JPY is actually attending to this trend line. So we have the first touch, the second, and the third. Until this trend line is broken, my sell biased on GBP JPY remains still, right? So on the weekly time frame here, we can see that GBP JPY has actually made its way into this trend line. That's more like the third touch we're expecting, right? And then, of course, on the daily time frame, it had been moving. It had been showing some bullish momentum, right, on the daily time frame, but up until now, where we see some form of confirmations around on the daily time frame. But I'm still expecting a little pullback, all right, a little bullish retracement, more bullish retracement, and then, of course, we're going to see this plunge into the deep. Remember last week when I gave update about GBP JP? Oh, sorry, for those of you that are in the community. Sorry, so if you need to be in the community, go to www.eqmarketsglobal, sign up an account. Somebody's going to contact you and you'll be part of our community. So I was giving an update on our community, all right, last week, and I said our only problem for GBP JPY to sell right now is this support area, right? And then, of course, when market broke above this support area, we're expecting the market to test on this support area and test again on this support area, right? So until this support area is broken, we are not going to be seeing a sell-off on GBP JPY. Rather, we see more rejections. But the beautiful thing is, even the high of this level, which is 172 rather, 172.054, was not effectively cleared out if you look at it on the daily time frame, right? So prices went above but still closed below. It simply means that yes, our sell bias can still be confirmed, right? So let's see what happens today, right? Let's see what happens today. For me personally, I would advise that if you see a break in this area here, let me mark out that price level for us. If we see a breakout at around 171.187, right, that we could look for a retest on that same zone and take GBP JPY all the way down. So for this week, I am strong sell biased for GBP JPY. All right, the confirmation is still not here. Let's look out for the confirmation and let's make some good money for ourselves. So these are the 5 assets that is going to be making you money this week. If you put them on your watch list, if you watch how they move and all that I have told you, you're going to make super money from it. All right, thank you so much. My name is 𝗦𝗛𝗓, and see you next week.